Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Invisalign. I've had my Invisalign on for just under a year now, and I have compiled a ton of frequently asked questions that you guys keep DMing me, commenting on my videos, and I have some tips and tricks on what I would suggest if you are getting Invisalign. So if you're interested in all of that, make sure to keep watching. I am so excited to talk about this because I was wanting Invisalign forever. I never had braces as a kid. I never had Invisalign as a kid. I always really wanted to do this once I got older and was able to pay for it and afford it. It can be very expensive, but I highly recommend doing it, especially over normal braces. This has been the best experience for me. I'm very happy with it. And I have a ton of tips and tricks for you guys about how I kind of manage it. But I wanted to give you a little bit of backstory on why I'm even doing Invisalign. So I was never fully unhappy with my smile. I did always kind of have like a bit of a weird side, and even still as my tooth is coming in, this left side has always been my bad side. This side was always fine. I'll try and insert some like before pictures here. But on the right side, my teeth were always like kind of straight, but on the left, I had this tooth, I don't even know if I can show you right here, that was really pushed in very heavily on the left, and it just made me look almost like I was missing a tooth on my left side. I also had a tooth on the bottom on the left that was sticking out a lot, and I just had a very narrow smile. So when I smiled at you from the front, you could see a lot of like dark space and gaps on both sides of my mouth. I also used to grind my teeth a lot when I slept, and I had gone to the dentist a lot of times in the past and asked for a night guard, but they never wanted to cover it because they said it was cosmetic, even though I wasn't even asking for an aligner to like fix my teeth. I was asking for something to prevent me from grinding them. Luckily, I have had no issues with grinding anymore since I've had Invisalign. I don't know if that's gonna come back when I'm done, but so far it has definitely helped with my night grinding. So once I decided it was time to finally get Invisalign, I looked for an orthodontist in my area. I live in Orange County in Southern California, and I've been going to Dr. Junyi at Kind Smiles in Irvine. We are collaborating on this, so she's giving me a portion off based on me promoting it and talking about it with her, but I cannot tell you enough how happy I am with her and her team. First of all, it's like kind of more of a kid's dentistry office, and so it's very happy in there. It's really clean, it's really modern, it's really nice and bright and beautiful, but the vibe is like kiddie in a way, which I love because I hate going to the dentist. I'm a very nervous dentist person. I'm very nervous with any medical appointments. I hate going. And so it's very happy. It's very bright. Everyone there is so nice, literally so accommodating. They chit chat with me every time I go in. And Dr. Junyi is one of the top Invisalign providers in the country. She's absolutely amazing. They did actually decide to give me a code as well. So if you're interested in getting an Invisalign touch-up treatment specifically, they're running a promo with me on this. If you call and mention my name, which is Nikki, they will be giving $500 off on Invisalign touch-up treatments. So if you're like me and you really need a full like 30+ tray treatment, this wouldn't be for you. But if you're someone who's like had braces in the past and you just like things have gotten misaligned and you need to get a little touch-up, I have a ton of my friends fall into that category. That is something that would work really well for you. So if you're interested, I would highly recommend calling them. They work, it's Kind Smiles, but I work with Dr. Junyi. Amazing. Highly recommend. Okay, first let's go over the frequently asked questions. So I've posted a lot about Invisalign on my TikTok, on my Instagram stories, and a lot of you guys have DM'd me and commented with questions. So one of the biggest ones is cost. My full treatment, again, before my collaboration and like what I worked out with the orthodontist, should have been, I believe, around $7,000 to $8,000. Again, I had kind of more of an extreme case. I wouldn't say I had like a crazy jaw issue, but like my jaw is a little bit misaligned. I had a big, section over here that needed to be fixed. So I've already, my first section of trays is 32, and then we're gonna go back in and do more refinements. So I do need a lot of trays. And again, I've had this for almost a year now and we're still not done. So it definitely varies case by case. I would say it can go anywhere on the lower end from like 2,000 to 3,000 and up to the 8,000 range. So definitely like call and kind of price shop and figure out who you want to work with. But also, obviously, this is like a really big, I wouldn't say medical procedure, but it's a big deal. And I, don't take any advice from me. This is just my experience and my 2 cents on the fact. Obviously, I have no medical or dental qualifications at all to be giving you guys advice, but really shop around and make sure that you go with someone you trust. That's why I was really happy to go with Kind Smiles because again, they are one of the top providers in the country for this. And it's your face and it's your mouth, and this is what you're gonna look like forever. So be careful with who you go to. But yeah, that's kind of the price range that I've seen. Another big question is, does it hurt? So I was very nervous to go in and get this done. First of all, when I went in for the very first time, they took digital like photos of my mouth to do a digital rendering of what my treatment was going to look like. I'll try and insert as many clips and stuff as I have. In the past, like back when I was in high school, I know a lot of people had to get the physical molds done. I don't know if they still do that in certain places, but at Kind Smiles, it's all digital, which was amazing. So there was like no pain or discomfort associated with that at all. Then you have to go back in and get your attachments put on, which are like the little nubs that are on your teeth, which help the Invisalign like grip to your teeth and move them. I personally did not have to get any IPR, which is another question that someone asked as well. Basically, IPR, from what I've heard, is like a little tiny, almost like piece of sandpaper, like little drill thing that goes in between your teeth to help just shave them down enough to give space for them to move. I personally did not have to get that. I know friends who have gotten it who've said it feels uncomfortable more than painful. So if you do have to get IPR, I wouldn't worry too much about it being painful. I think it's just more so like that, you know, EBGBs, like nails on a chalkboard feeling. I did not have to get that. I also didn't have any pain associated with my attachments getting put on. You don't have to get numbed or anything. The biggest painful part of the experience for me was just having my mouth open for that long. Literally, I think it was like almost a 2-hour process because I had so many attachments to be put on. They do it with like a bonding glue and a light and everything. So it's not like they're like drilling into your teeth or anything, but just having your mouth open that long for a dental procedure really hurts me because I do have jaw issues. Same thing with like when I got my wisdom teeth out, my jaw was so sore afterwards because literally I was awake for my wisdom teeth surgery and my mouth was open for so long for the surgery. So that part was very uncomfortable, but the rest of it, specifically of the actual process of them getting put on, was not uncomfortable or painful. Now, when it comes to switching out the trays, I would definitely say I sometimes have pain. And it's weird because I had a friend tell me this, that you kind of end up liking the pain. Like I've gotten excited when my teeth really hurt in the morning after I switch out my trays because I'm like, oh, I know it's really working. Because sometimes I'll switch out a tray and it barely feels any different. Sometimes the next day it's really hard for me to eat like sandwiches or anything that I have to bite into. So again, I wouldn't say it's super painful, although I do remember the first week or so of having them on, my jaw hurt and my teeth hurt so bad. I was miserable. Okay, so this goes into our next question. How long did it take to adjust to them? You guys, I first of all cried so much the first day that I had them because I felt so ugly. It really changes the way that you look when you look in the mirror. Now I don't notice them. I'm wearing them right now and like I am so used to them and I don't notice them. The first day, oh my God, I was miserable. It felt embarrassing. It felt weird. It felt really different. My mouth hurt, my jaw hurt, my head hurt. It took me a while to get used to them. I do still have a little bit of a lisp when I'm wearing them, which is not great. I also do have to wear one set of rubber bands on this side. So it goes from my upper tooth to my back tooth. I wear one rubber band, which I don't have on right now because that really gives me a lisp. So whenever I'm filming videos, I do take that out. And I need to be better about wearing my rubber bands. So if they give you bands, wear them. That's gonna fix my crossbite. But I would say the first week, maybe the first month was definitely the hardest for me. But I promise, you will get used to it. It doesn't feel like it. It feels miserable. I literally was questioning all of my life choices the first week, but it gets easier. And now it is completely second nature to me. No stress, so don't worry. Another thing that I noticed when I first got them on is I did get a lot of like sores and sore spots in my mouth, especially because I do have a silver attachment on the outside of my tooth here that helps hook on the rubber band. So it looks kind of similar to like the silver little brackets that they put on braces. That really tore up this side of my mouth. And I feel like it took me a while for my mouth to kind of get used to it. So that is something to expect as well. I feel like there's certain little corners and stuff that might kind of dig into your skin or your gums or your lips. So that was kind of a bummer. And I remember that it was really sore and hurt really bad. I'm also pretty prone to canker sores in my mouth. So I feel like they felt a lot like canker sores, and those are literally the worst. If you get them, you know. So that was kind of a bummer. Something to be wary of. But again, once my mouth got used to it within the first couple of weeks, I haven't had any at all since. So when it comes to switching out aligners, I personally do this at night only. I would highly recommend doing this. I've heard that your teeth move the most at night, and I found that it's the most comfortable for me to switch them at night. I feel like the first 24 to 48 hours of switching out your aligners is when your mouth is gonna hurt the most. So I always, and I personally switch mine out every 7 to 10 days. If I'm wearing them very well, you're supposed to be, at least for me, I'm supposed to be wearing them 22 out of 24 hours a day, which is kind of hard to maintain. So I usually kind of end up switching them around the 8 or 9 day mark, just to give my mouth a little bit of extra time to adjust. I always just brush my teeth, floss, mouthwash, everything right before bed, pop in the new ones, and then go to sleep. And usually by the morning, my teeth are still a little bit sore, but I'm okay with eating and stuff. Again, sometimes if I switch them out, they really hurt the next day, but for the most part, it's a pretty easy transition. But I definitely recommend switching them out at night. I've done that. I've only ever done morning like once or twice, and it felt really weird and my mouth hurt the whole day. So I think doing it at night helps you adjust a little bit better. Someone asked about switching them out when you're not at home. So this brings me to my first little Amazon find. I will have all of this linked in my description section below if you guys want to like shop any of the things I'm talking about. But the first thing that I did when I got my Invisalign was ordered extra cases. They only gave me one like little takeaway case for mine. So I ordered a bunch more of these, and honestly, I might even order more because I feel like I want one of these in every purse. Whenever you're out and about and you don't have a case, it's so annoying because then you have to put them in a napkin. You have to be wary that you're not throwing them away. You know, it's like gross and weird to just be putting them in your purse and stuff. So definitely order some of these. And then the other thing is that I normally have acrylics on, so it's easy for me to pop my teeth out. I also call them my teeth. So I'll always say like, oh, I gotta take my teeth out when I'm going to eat and stuff. But if you don't have nails and you need help taking them out, especially the first like couple of weeks or months, it was really hard for me to get them out. I ordered these little like pull thingies. You just stick your finger in there and you can like hook them in and pull them out much easier. Another big tip for me is I find that they're way easier to take out if I go from the inside of my mouth versus the outside. So normally I just take my thumb, pop them out from the back. Same thing with this. I'll just show you. So sorry if this is gross. Go in like this. One side, other side. There we go. And then when you put them in, I go from the front. Ta-da! So there's my tutorial for the day. But this is the little carrying case. I got cute little pink ones, and then I just pop that in there and you're ready to go. Another big question is, do people notice them? Are you embarrassed of them? Can you tell that they're in when you're talking to people? I would say yes and no. A lot of people have commented on them when I'm talking to them, and that is, I think, mostly because I'm a content creator. I post about this a lot on my stories. People have like followed along with my journey, so they kind of know it's something that I'm comfortable talking about. I also think a lot of people either have their own personal stories with them, like they've had Invisalign, they just got done with Invisalign, or a lot of people are actually really interested in getting them. Like I mentioned before, touch-up cases are pretty common, where if you had braces as a kid and then never wore your retainers, your teeth might shift a lot when you get older. So a lot of people want to do just like a 10 tray touch-up case to help fix one little wonky area of your mouth. So I feel like people definitely do notice them. If I'm ever doing like a big event or a dinner or an interview or a video or something, I just take them out and do them with them out. So if you're really, really worried about it for like prom or something like that, you can always just have them out if you want. But again, the more that you wear them, the quicker you'll be done with it. So obviously you don't want to keep them out the whole time. But I definitely felt a little bit embarrassed about it at first, especially because of my lisp. I feel like even still, I talk a little bit funny with them in, but you get used to it. And at the end of the day, it's a couple years of discomfort for having the perfect smile that'll make you feel more comfortable. So it's definitely worth it. And the last question is, how long does it take? So I kind of mentioned this before. I think my entire personal treatment is going to be around 1.5 to 2 years. I'm about 10 months in right now. I think this round has a total of 32 aligners, and then we're going to do touch-ups. So it kind of depends on your case. It's really hard to say. I have a friend who's had them for 4 years because they had to keep getting touch-ups, and that was through the pandemic and everything. Sometimes people's cases only last 6 months if they have like a quick touch-up to do. So it really just depends on what your mouth is like. Also, I've heard that not everybody's teeth move so easily. So it might just take a little bit longer for you and for your mouth. Obviously that's something you'll have to talk to your orthodontist about, but for me personally, I think we're gonna land just under the 2-year mark probably. Okay, so I have some little tips and tricks that I have from my personal experience on what has helped me a lot with my Invisalign. The first thing, and this is probably my favorite and best tip, is to get one of these little dental cleaner pods. I saw so many ads for these. This one is from Zima Dental. They actually sent it over to me and I don't know that I ever would have bought one with my own money because they're kind of pricey. I think these ones maybe are closer to like 80 bucks, 60 to 80 bucks. So they're not cheap. And I was like, oh, it's fine. I can just brush my retainers or drop them in water with a cleaning pod or whatever. These work so well. I cannot even get over how well they work. Basically, you plug it in, it's like this little thing, you put water and a cleaning tablet in there, cover it up and press the button and it like sonic cleans it for 5 minutes. When I put my aligners in, I've noticed that you should put them with the hollow side up so they kind of sink down in there rather than upside down. They'll kind of float, if that makes sense. But I put them in there with these little cleaning pods that I got on Amazon. They say that you need to use their own brand. I think that's BS, I just use these. I cannot express to you how at the end of the week that you wear these, they get kind of grimy. Even if you brush them in between, there's like little crevices in there that aren't always going to get clean, especially if you wear them with lipstick on or you're eating and then you put them back in or whatever. Trust me, this is worth it. If you guys know somebody who will give this to you for like a Christmas present or something, do it because these are amazing. So highly recommend. I'll link that on my storefront. Another thing that's really cool, I don't know if this is just something that my orthodontist does or if all Invisalign providers provide these, but this is the little Invisalign virtual treatment photo lens. I don't know how to describe it, but you basically clip this onto your phone and every week you can send in virtual treatment photos to your orthodontist instead of having to like, I don't even know what people do without these. Maybe they just take photos of their mouth or they have more checkups, but basically you just put it in your mouth like this. It's kind of like one of those little mouth expander things and you can take photos with it and it gets the perfect shot of your teeth. It tells you exactly how to move, when to take your aligners out, whatever. And your orthodontist is able to track this. It also uses AI so it can give you immediate feedback if like you're ready to move on to the next aligner or not. This thing has been really, really cool. I'm very happy with it and it's really easy to use. So ask your provider if they have these because I have really enjoyed this. And then the last two things are cleaning related. So I never used to floss before Invisalign. One thing that's weird about Invisalign is as your teeth move, you're gonna be stuck with these awkward, weird sized gaps all over your mouth. And the amount of food that gets stuck in there, it's disgusting, you guys. I'm so sorry to tell you that, but I get like full big chunks of meat stuck in between my teeth. So you have to floss when you're on Invisalign. You just have to, because otherwise like, it's disgusting, okay? This floss is the best. It's the cocoa floss. I get the mint one. It's kind of like a thicker woven consistency. I'm obsessed with this. I cannot believe I used to go a day without flossing. I have to floss or else I do not feel like my mouth is clean. Cocoa floss is the best. Anytime I try and use the regular waxy floss, it just does not grip enough to my teeth. Obviously, floss is very personal preference. Some people might not like this kind of texture. Highly recommend giving this a try. It's amazing. It's kind of pricey, but it's worth it, especially while you're doing your treatment. And then last but not least, I just have a little sample of this because I just switched, but I have started using Sensodyne toothpaste. I had one tooth back in the back here that I thought I had a cavity in because it was so cold sensitive and it was hurting so bad. My orthodontist and my dentist said, I don't have any cavities. Shout out to me, I've never had a cavity in my life, knock on wood, but there was no cavity. I think it was just sensitive because my teeth were moving so much with the Invisalign. But they suggested that I try Sensodyne and it worked like a charm. I have no sensitivity in that tooth anymore and it only took like a week of using this to notice a difference. So if you start doing Invisalign, you notice some of your teeth feel like hot and cold sensitive. Sensodyne has worked amazingly for me, so highly recommend. I know there is so much more with Invisalign that you can talk about. I'm sure you guys might have other questions. Please leave them in the comments. I'll try and respond to them and people can kind of chit chat in the comments. Overall, I am so happy with how this has been going. I'll show you some before and after photos again. I'm not even all the way done and I have noticed a complete different transformation in my smile. It might be subtle to other people, but for me, it's been a really big confidence boost and I'm so happy with it. So if this is something you've been thinking about, I would say just invest in yourself and go for it. I'm very happy with it. Very little pain, very little discomfort, and you really do get used to it. Again, if you're in the Orange County area, Kind Smiles, Dr. Junyi, they are the best. I'm so happy to be working with them. And if you're interested in just a touch-up case, you can always use my code Nikki, give them a call and mention my name. They will give you $500 off for that. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I will see you in my next YouTube video. Bye.